Dr. Clara Lee was in her element, or, more accurately, in a delightful state of chaos. The laboratory hummed with the excitement of cutting-edge technology, where neon lights flickered like fireflies caught in a jar. She stood in front of a complex array of screens and wires, her lab coat splattered with remnants of her latest lunch, a dubious mix of spaghetti and something resembling alien goo. Her hair was a wild nest of frizz, an embodiment of her eccentric genius. "Okay, team, prepare for the first test of the Avatar Communicator 3000. Clara announced, her voice laced with both enthusiasm and a hint of nervousness. Her lab assistants, two slightly befuddled interns named Derek and Fiona, exchanged skeptical glances as they tightened the safety harness around her. The plan was simple: connect Clara's consciousness to a carefully designed avatar of an alien being from a distant planet known as Zelther. The hope was to foster intergalactic communication and understanding, but in typical Clara fashion, the execution promised to be anything but straightforward. With a theatrical flourish, Clara pressed the big red button labeled "Do Not Press," a choice that felt inherently rebellious. Instantly, the room was filled with a dazzling light, and Clara felt her body lift, as if she were floating on a cloud of cosmic cotton candy. Then, everything went sideways, literally. Instead of her avatar materializing flawlessly, she found herself facing the ceiling, her legs flailing comically in the air. "Clara! Flip back!" Derek shouted, trying to suppress a laugh. As she struggled to regain control, Clara's voice echoed through the lab in a bizarre mix of English and the garbled alien language of Zelther. "Greetings, esteemed beings of the cosmos. I come in." Before she could finish, Clara's avatar hiccuped, transformed, and unceremoniously face planted on the ground. The two interns erupted in laughter, which was abruptly silenced by a holographic projection of an alien face that appeared before them. The alien, a tall, slender creature with shimmering blue skin and oversized, expressive eyes, blinked in confusion. "I am Gunther, ambassador of Zelther. Is this a customary greeting among your people?" Clara, still upside down and a little dazed, mumbled something that resembled an apology but sounded more like a sheep trying to sing opera. The Zelther ambassador tilted its head, a gesture Clara recognized from her many late-night binge-watching sessions of alien documentaries. It was a sign of puzzlement, and she was clearly doing a stellar job of perplexing them. "Let me try this again," Clara said, flipping herself upright. "Greetings. I am Dr. Clara Lee, a humble scientist from Earth. I come in peace." The words spilled out with the gravity of a diplomatic mission, yet the sight of her spaghetti-stained lab coat and tangled hair undercut the seriousness of the moment. The alien blinked slowly, its large eyes reflecting an innocent curiosity. "Peace? You bring us a peace offering?" It gestured to Clara's lab coat, where a rubber chicken, an unfortunate remnant of a prank gone awry, had somehow found its way onto her person. Yes," Clara said, grasping for a thread of dignity. "This is a symbol of our, great humor and unity. A gift." The Zelthorian ambassador squinted at the rubber chicken, turning it over in its long, delicate fingers. "We do not have chickens. What is the purpose of this offering?" "Right. Well, it's a great way to break the ice," Clara stammered, feeling the heat rise to her cheeks. "It symbolizes joy." "Joy," Gunther repeated, its brow furrowing in contemplation. "So you bring us laughter in exchange for peace? Fascinating. We Zelthorians have much to learn about your species." At that moment, Clara realized she might have overestimated the Zelthorian understanding of humor. As Gunther turned to consult its fellow council members, an assortment of equally bewildered aliens, she felt a mix of horror and amusement. They were staring at the rubber chicken as if it were an alien artifact from a distant galaxy. The ensuing conversation was a whirlwind of exaggerated gestures and comical misunderstandings. Clara watched as the Zelthorians interpreted her intention to bring joy into an elaborate series of diplomatic dances, thinking it was a prerequisite to peace. "This is going to be a long day," Clara muttered, but with a grin. Who knew a rubber chicken could spark such a diplomatic crisis? With the initial chaos firmly established, Clara quickly became a conduit for comedic misunderstandings and cultural faux pas that would define her journey. As the meeting progressed, she navigated through an array of bizarre customs, all while trying to impress upon the Zelthorians the importance of trust and collaboration. In the days that followed, Clara donned her avatar frequently, each time attempting to convey something profound, only to find herself tangled in absurd situations. During one meeting, she accidentally introduced a human concept of team-building exercises by having everyone participate in a human-style tug-of-war using a gigantic, inflatable alien creature. The result was a comedic disaster, with Zelthorians and humans alike ending up in a tangle of limbs and laughter. The cultural exchanges continued, and Clara was determined to foster a sense of camaraderie. She enlisted Zephyr, a young Zelther who was curious and eager to learn about Earth. Zephyr had a knack for mimicking human behavior, albeit with its own delightful twist. During one of their exchanges, Clara attempted to teach him how to cook a classic spaghetti dish. "Add the tomato sauce," Clara instructed, demonstrating the process with an enthusiasm that was contagious. Zephyr, however, interpreted this in a rather literal sense. Instead of gently pouring the sauce, it gleefully hurled the entire jar into the pot, splattering red everywhere. Clara burst into laughter as she watched the chaos unfold, realizing that cooking might not be the best medium for intergalactic understanding. Amidst the laughter, however, Clara felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her. She knew that with each humorous exchange, the specter of misunderstanding loomed over them. A faction of the Zelthorian Council, wary of humanity's intentions, was growing increasingly agitated. Clara had to find a way to bridge the gap before it widened into a chasm of mistrust. As she pondered their next steps, a realization struck her: what if they used humor to break down barriers? Clara pitched the idea of a grand summit where both civilizations could engage in a series of friendly competitions, games, dances, and culinary challenges designed to showcase their unique cultures. Imagine it. A dance-off between Zelthorian and human styles. "We'll call it the Galactic Games," Clara exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Zephyr nodded vigorously, "and we can create a dish that combines both cultures. How about spaghetti with Zelthorian spices?" The two worked tirelessly, gathering support from both sides. Clara's enthusiasm was infectious, and soon, representatives from the Zelthorian Council were on board. But as the summit approached, the atmosphere shifted. Some council members remained skeptical, convinced that humans were merely using humor as a ruse for domination. Clara, sensing the tension, turned to Zephyr for support. Together, they devised a plan to incorporate open dialogue during the summit, allowing for honest discussions about their differences and fears. As the day of the Galactic Games dawned, Clara's heart raced with a mix of excitement and apprehension. The venue was a colossal amphitheater adorned with shimmering decorations from both planets. Earth's flags and Zelthorian symbols danced together in the light, a vivid representation of what they were trying to achieve. The opening ceremony began with an array of comical events, a synchronized dance featuring Clara and Gunther, who performed an exaggerated routine that had the audience roaring with laughter. But as the games progressed, tensions resurfaced. During a particularly intense cooking competition, a miscommunication led to a food fight that spiraled out of control. Suddenly, the amphitheater was transformed into a battlefield of flying spaghetti and Zelthorian spices. Clara ducked behind a table, stifling giggles while trying to maintain a sense of decorum. Then, in the midst of the chaos, she spotted Gunther looking mortified. The sight was both hilarious and sobering. Her alien counterpart looked ready to call off the peace talks entirely. Clara knew this was her moment. "Gunther," she shouted over the noise, her heart pounding. "Let's turn this around. Embrace the madness. Laughter is the best way to build trust." With that, Clara emerged from her hiding place, covered in spaghetti but wearing a wide grin. She started to laugh, a deep, infectious laugh that echoed through the amphitheater. Slowly, she extended her arms, inviting Gunther to join her in the absurdity of the moment. At first hesitant, the ambassador finally chuckled, breaking the tension like a dam bursting. One by one, the audience began to join in, laughter rippling through the crowd. Clara's infectious spirit ignited a spark of connection, melting away the barriers that had once felt insurmountable. As the food fight transitioned into a celebratory feast, Clara took a moment to breathe, her heart swelling with hope. They had turned chaos into camaraderie, and for the first time, she truly felt a sense of unity between their worlds. "Let's propose a cultural exchange program," Clara declared, standing atop a table, still holding a half-eaten meatball. "We can learn from each other, celebrate our differences, and, most importantly, have fun." The Zelthorian council members, who had initially doubted her intentions, nodded enthusiastically. Clara could see the shift in their expressions. Genuine curiosity replaced suspicion. As the summit came to a close, Clara and Zephyr were overwhelmed with support. The laughter shared, the lessons learned, and the connections formed laid the groundwork for a partnership between Earth and Zelther. Finally, Clara returned to her lab, exhausted but exhilarated. She activated the Avatar Communicator 3001 last time, this time with a sense of purpose and camaraderie. She was determined to keep the channels of communication open, knowing that every humorous misstep brought them closer together. Yet, as she settled back into her own body, her finger accidentally brushed the big red button labeled, "Do Not Press." And with a whoosh of dazzling light, she found herself once again in a humorous predicament. This time, her avatar was a giant rubber chicken, flapping its wings in confusion. "Not again," she shouted, laughter spilling out of her as the cycle of chaos began anew. As Clara flailed her rubber chicken avatar through the lab, the sight was utterly ridiculous. The glowing walls of the lab pulsed around her, and she couldn't help but let out a laugh that echoed through the chaotic space. "Great, just what I needed. A giant rubber chicken." Derek and Fiona, who had been observing the antics of their eccentric boss, erupted into fits of laughter. The transformation had not only changed Clara's appearance but had somehow shifted the atmosphere in the lab to one of joyous absurdity. "Clara, you've really taken playing the fool to a whole new level," Derek exclaimed, trying to catch his breath. "Right? This is my best look yet," Clara quipped back, shaking her flappy wings. With every movement, she managed to bring the hilarity of the situation to life, demonstrating that even in the most serious of scientific endeavors, laughter was a vital ingredient. However, amidst the laughter, Clara's mind was racing. The success of the Galactic Games had reignited her determination to forge a lasting partnership between humans and the Zelthorians. But to ensure the momentum didn't fizzle out, she needed to act quickly. The council would be meeting soon, and she wanted to present a solid plan for their proposed cultural exchange program. "Okay, team," Clara finally said, still in her rubber chicken form but somehow managing to sound authoritative. "We need to gather our thoughts and craft a compelling proposal. This is our chance to build something incredible." As she waddled over to her computer, Clara's vision of a collaborative future took shape. The exchange program could involve educational initiatives, collaborative projects, and even joint research into their respective technologies. She envisioned scientists from Zelther visiting Earth to share their advanced knowledge of energy harnessing, while Earth scientists offered insights into ecological sustainability. "Derek, I need you to compile the results from the summit, everything from the dance-offs to the cooking mishaps," she instructed, pointing a rubber wing at him. "Fiona, gather testimonials from the council members who expressed interest. We need to show that there's genuine excitement on both sides." The interns jumped into action, their laughter fading into focused determination. Clara, however, couldn't shake the feeling of urgency. She needed to solidify their budding friendship before misunderstandings crept back in. Later that afternoon, Clara received a message from Gunther, inviting her to the Zelthorian Council for a follow-up discussion. Excitement bubbled inside her. This was the moment she had been waiting for, a chance to solidify their partnership and pitch her ideas. The next day, Clara donned her most professional attire, no rubber chickens this time, just a crisp lab coat, and set off for the Zelthorian capital. Upon arrival, she was greeted with the mesmerizing sights of the alien city, its iridescent towers glistening like jewels against the soft lavender sky. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation, and Clara could sense the unity that had been forged during the games lingering in the air. As she entered the council chamber, she noticed a marked difference in the demeanor of the Zelthorians. They welcomed her warmly, their large eyes sparkling with curiosity rather than suspicion. Clara felt a rush of confidence as she stepped up to present her proposal. "Esteemed members of the council," she began, her voice steady and clear, "I stand before you today not just as a scientist from Earth, but as a friend eager to build a bridge between our worlds. The Galactic Games showed us how much we can learn from each other, and I believe a cultural exchange program will allow us to explore our differences and celebrate our similarities." As she spoke, Clara watched Gunther's eyes widen in interest. The other council members leaned forward, their expressions shifting from passive observers to engaged participants. She continued, outlining her vision with enthusiasm, detailing how Earth's diverse cultures could intertwine with the Zelthorian customs, each benefiting from the other. "The potential for knowledge sharing is boundless. Imagine Zelthorian scholars learning about human history and art while introducing us to their innovations in sustainable energy and space travel." Clara exclaimed, her passion contagious. As she concluded her presentation, the room erupted into a flurry of whispers. Clara's heart raced, but she remained composed, hopeful. Then Gunther rose to speak, its voice resonating with a tone of authority yet tinged with warmth. "Dr. Lee, your words reflect not only a desire for knowledge but a commitment to understanding. We accept your proposal for a cultural exchange program." Cheers erupted from the Zelthorian Council, and Clara could hardly believe her ears. It was a significant step, one that promised to reshape the relationship between their civilizations. As she basked in the moment, she realized the challenges ahead would require effort, patience, and a continued commitment to open communication. Over the next few weeks, the cultural exchange program took shape. Clara organized teams of scientists, educators, and artists eager to travel to Zelther, while the Zelthorians prepared for their first visits to Earth. There were hiccups, of course, like the time Clara accidentally sent a shipment of Earth snacks that included chocolate-covered crickets, which left the Zelthorian delegates bewildered. They had thought it was a delicacy, but laughter often bridged the gaps. Clara found herself hosting weekly video calls with Gunther and Zephyr, discussing the progress of their initiatives and sharing humorous anecdotes from their respective cultures. Their friendship blossomed, fueled by a shared goal and a sense of camaraderie that made even the most daunting tasks feel light-hearted. One day, during one of their calls, Zephyr surprised Clara with an idea. "Why don't we organize an intergalactic festival? A day where we showcase our cultures through art, music, and, of course, food." Clara's eyes lit up. "That's brilliant. A celebration of our collaboration. We can invite people from both planets to participate, learn, and have fun." Excitement bubbled between them as they began planning the festival, envisioning an event that would truly capture the essence of their newfound friendship. They settled on a date and began drafting a list of activities, from cooking classes to dance performances, each designed to foster interaction and understanding. As the day of the festival approached, Clara felt a mixture of nervousness and anticipation. Would the citizens of Earth and Zelther embrace this opportunity to learn about one another? As she looked around at her bustling lab, now filled with preparations for the festival, she felt a surge of hope. Finally, the day of the festival arrived. Clara stood on the vibrant grounds that had been transformed into a kaleidoscope of colors, with booths showcasing Zelthorian art, human crafts, and culinary delights from both planets. Excited chatter filled the air as people from all walks of life mingled, their curiosity shining through. Clara spotted Gunther and Zephyr across the field, and her heart swelled with pride. Together, they made their way through the throngs of participants, engaging with attendees, sharing stories, and encouraging interactions between humans and Zelthorians. Laughter and joy filled the air as they participated in cooking demonstrations and dance contests, blending their cultures in delightful, unexpected ways. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, Clara took to the stage, her heart racing with excitement. "Welcome, everyone, to our first intergalactic festival. Today, we celebrate the friendship and understanding we have built together. Let's embrace our differences and create memories that will last for generations." Cheers erupted from the crowd, and Clara felt a wave of warmth wash over her. In that moment, she knew they had created something truly special, an opportunity for connection that transcended the barriers of space and time. The festival unfolded with laughter, music, and shared experiences, culminating in a dance that combined Zelthorian and human styles. Clara, in her human form, danced alongside Gunther, their movements a celebration of their unique cultures. As the stars twinkled above, Clara realized that they had not just built bridges, they had forged a vibrant tapestry of friendship and understanding. Every misunderstanding, every rubber chicken mishap, had led them to this moment, where laughter and connection reigned supreme. In the days that followed, Clara's lab transformed into a hub of collaboration. Zelthorian scholars visited, sharing insights on their energy technologies, while Clara and her team introduced them to human innovations in agriculture and art. The cultural exchange program blossomed, with participants eagerly trading knowledge and experiences, laughing through their miscommunications, and celebrating their differences. One day, as Clara reflected on the journey they had taken, she received a message from Zephyr. "Clara, I have an idea for our next festival. We should include a talent show. I want to perform a human-style comedy routine." Clara chuckled, her heart full. "I can't wait to see that. And who knows, maybe I'll finally get to share some of my alien dance moves." As they planned for the future, Clara realized that her initial goal had evolved. It was no longer just about establishing peace, it was about creating a thriving partnership that honored both civilizations and their rich tapestries of culture. As she flipped the pages of her notebook, her mind raced with possibilities. Perhaps they could even collaborate on space exploration projects, combining Earth's experience with Zelther's technology. The universe was vast, and together, they had only just begun to scratch the surface, and so, in a world where rubber chickens had paved the way for intergalactic friendship, Clara knew that the journey ahead would be filled with laughter, challenges, and endless opportunities for connection. In the quiet moments before sleep, Clara often found herself smiling, grateful for the ridiculous twists and turns that had brought them all together. The world was richer, and the cosmos felt a little smaller, all because she dared to embrace the chaos and the laughter. Along the way, with a heart full of hope and laughter, she closed her notebook, ready to greet whatever the universe had in store next.